Obsession is not love. It is a glitch, a psychological short circuit. It is a loop in the human brain that forces a person to fixate on a target until they either possess it or are destroyed by it. Most men spend their entire lives trying to be loved. They buy flowers. They send good morning texts. They listen to problems they don't care about. And they beg for crumbs of affection. They trade their dignity for a smile. And in return, they get friend-zoned. They get cheated on. They get left for the man who doesn't do any of those things. Because here is the cold, uncomfortable reality that society tries to hide from you. Women do not obsess over the men who treat them like queens. They obsess over the men who treat them like a question they cannot answer. Today, I am not going to teach you how to be a good boyfriend. I'm not going to teach you how to be supportive. I'm going to hand you the keys to the female subconscious. I'm going to show you how to hack the emotional software that governs her desire. We are going to cover 7 psychological triggers, tricks if you want to call them that bypass her logic and speak directly to her biological instinct to chase. But a warning before we begin, these methods are potent. They rely on the dark psychology of dopamine, intermittent reinforcement, and ego fragmentation. Once you flip these switches, you cannot simply turn them off. She will not just like you, she will crave you. She will feel a physical withdrawal when you're not there. If you're not ready to be the center of someone's world, if you're too weak to handle that level of intensity, close this video now. Go watch a comedy. Go back to sleep. But if you're ready to stop chasing and start haunting her mind, then listen closely. Trick number 1, the vacuum of validation. Let's start with the mistake 99% of men make within the first 5 minutes of interaction. They over-validate. You see a beautiful woman, your biological programming kicks in. You feel the urge to prove yourself, to show her you're nice, successful, funny. You laugh too hard at her jokes. You agree with everything she says. You compliment her looks immediately. You think you're being charming. What you're actually doing is suffocating her attraction. Attraction requires space. It requires air. When you fill every silence with a compliment, every gap with reassurance, you leave no room for her to wonder about you. You leave no room for anxiety. And without a little bit of anxiety, there is no obsession. The vacuum of validation is the art of giving her nothing when she expects something. It works like this. She tells a joke. It's not funny. The nice guy laughs anyway because he wants her approval. You look at her, you smile, maybe a little smirk, but you don't laugh. You let the silence hang for 3 seconds. In those 3 seconds, her brain panics. Why isn't he laughing? Does he think I'm stupid? Does he not like me? Boom. You have entered her head. Or she posts a photo on social media, a thirst trap. It gets 300 likes and 50 comments telling her she's a goddess. She expects you to join the choir. She expects you to be fan number 3001. You do nothing. You watch the story. You don't like it. You don't comment. You don't react. This is the vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum. It tries to fill it. When you create an emotional void by withholding the validation she is used to getting for free, she feels a compulsion to earn it. She will start trying harder. She will ask more questions. She will dress better when she sees you. She will touch you more. She's trying to fill the empty space you created. Most men are terrified of silence. They think silence means rejection. The dark truth is that silence is a canvas. If you're brave enough to leave it blank, she will paint her obsession all over it. Trick number 2, fracture the pedestal. There's a concept in psychology called halo effect. It's when we assume that because someone is beautiful, they are also smart, kind, and interesting. Men do this to women constantly. They put her on a pedestal. They treat her like a celebrity. And do you know how celebrities treat their fans? With indifference. If you want her obsessed, you cannot be a fan. You must be the critic. I'm not talking about negging or being an insult comic. That's childish. That screams insecurity. I'm talking about benevolent neglect of her ego. I'm talking about being unimpressed by the things everyone else worships. She is used to men melting when she walks in the room. She is used to men stuttering. You need to look through the beauty, not at it. When you talk to her, do not compliment her eyes, her lips, or her body. Not yet. Those are cheap commodities. Instead, challenge her reality. If she acts tough and cool, you say, "You know, you play the tough girl role pretty well, but I can see you're actually deeply sensitive." If she acts like the life of the party, you say, "It must be exhausting having to entertain everyone all the time just to feel seen." This is called fracturing the pedestal. You're taking the image she projects to the world, the perfect, beautiful, confident woman, and you're putting a tiny crack in it. You are telling her, "I see the real you. I see the shadow." This is addictive. Because deep down, nobody wants to be worshipped for a mask. They want to be seen for who they are. When you ignore the surface and speak to the soul, even if you are slightly critical, she feels a level of intimacy that she does not feel with the guys buying her drinks. The fan worships the image. The man dismantles it. Be the man. Trick number 3, the dopamine roller coaster. This is the most dangerous trick on this list. It is the same psychological mechanism that makes gambling addictive. It is the reason people ruin their lives at slot machines. If a rat in a lab presses a lever and gets a pellet of food every single time, it presses the lever only when it is hungry. It's predictable. It's boring. But if the rat presses the lever and sometimes gets food and sometimes gets nothing and sometimes gets a huge reward and sometimes gets a shock, the rat will press that lever until it dies of exhaustion. That is intermittent reinforcement. Most men are consistent. They are reliable. They text back within 2 minutes. They say goodnight every night. They are predictable. And predictability is the death of passion. To create obsession, you must be the slot machine. You must oscillate between warmth and coldness, presence and absence. One day, you're all over her. You're texting her back instantly. You are funny. You're charming. You're making plans. You give her a massive hit of dopamine. She feels high. She thinks, yes, he likes me. This is it. Then the next day, you pull back. You take 5 hours to reply. Your texts are shorter, no emojis. You're busy. You're focused on your mission. Her brain goes into withdrawal. What happened? Did I say something wrong? Is he seeing someone else? She checks her phone. Nothing. The anxiety builds. The cortisol spikes. Then, just as she's about to spiral, you send a message. Thinking of you. Bang. The dopamine hit is 10 times stronger because of the anxiety that preceded it. The relief is euphoric. You have just wired her brain to associate you with that chemical high. She becomes addicted not to you, but to the cycle of anxiety and relief that you provide. Is this manipulative? Yes. Is it cruel? Perhaps. But is it effective? Absolutely. Women say they want a nice guy who is consistent. But look at who they cry over. Look at who they obsess over. They obsess over the man they can't figure out. The man who is a puzzle. The man whose attention is a prize, not a participation trophy. Trick number 4, the no that means power. We live in a world of yes men, men who are so desperate to avoid conflict, so terrified of losing a woman that they agree to everything. Do you want to go to this restaurant? Sure. Do you like this movie? Yeah. If you do, can you hold my purse? Of course. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, you cut off a piece of your masculinity and hand it to her, and she hates you for it. Women do not respect men they can control. It is biologically impossible. If she can control you, she cannot rely on you. If she can bend you, the world can break you. And she needs a man who cannot be broken. You must learn to say no, not angrily, not defensively, but calmly, with absolute authority. No, I don't want to go there. No, I'm not available Friday. No, I don't agree with you. When you set a boundary, when you deny her something she wants, you subvert the dynamic. You become the selector. You become the prize. Imagine a child testing the walls of a house. They push and push. If the wall moves, the child is terrified. If the wall stays firm, the child feels safe. Be the wall. When you tell a woman no, you trigger a fascinating reaction. Initially, she might be annoyed. She might test you. She might pout. But subconsciously, her respect for you skyrockets. She realizes you have standards. You have a backbone. You're not just another orbiter in her solar system. You are a planet with your own gravity. The word no is an aphrodisiac to a woman who is used to hearing yes. Trick number 5, create future nostalgia. This is a subtle art. It is about planting seeds in her mind that grow when you're not there. Most men talk about the present. How was your day? What are you doing? Boring. To make her obsessed, you need to colonize her future. You need to link your presence to experiences she hasn't even had yet. You use phrases like, we're going to have to go to this place. I know, but I don't know if you can handle the spice. I saw this movie trailer and it reminded me of that story you told me. We'll watch it next month. You're creating open loops. We will talk more about this later. But specifically here, you are projecting a reality where the two of you are together, having adventures, challenging each other. But here's the twist. You do this, and then you don't make the plant immediately. You plant the seed and walk away. Now, when she walks past a spicy restaurant, she thinks of you. When she sees a movie trailer, she thinks of you. You're creating triggers in her environment that remind her of you. Even when you're miles away, you are effectively haunting her reality. This is called future nostalgia. She is missing a memory that hasn't happened yet. She is longing for a future that exists only in the shared imagination you created. This creates a sense of inevitability. It makes her feel like you two are destined to be together because her brain has already simulated the future. Trick number 6. The triangle of desire. Let's be honest about human nature. We want what others want. If you walk past an empty restaurant, you assume the food is bad. If you see a line out the door, you assume it's amazing. You will wait an hour in the rain just to taste it. Women are socially intelligent creatures. They rely on social proof. If no other women want you, she assumes there is a reason. She assumes you are defective. But if she senses, even slightly, that other women desire you, suddenly your stock value goes through the roof. This is called pre-selection. Now, the nice guy thinks the way to do this is to brag. Oh, my ex-girlfriend won't stop texting me. That waitress was hitting on me. Stop. That is pathetic. That is trying too hard. True pre-selection is subtle. It is an energy. It is having female friends who respect you. It is receiving a text message and smiling but not telling her who it is. It is not being threatened by the idea of her leaving because you know and she knows that you have options. You don't need to rub it in her face. You just need to exist in a way that suggests you are in demand. When you're out with her, be charming to the waitress. Not flirty, just charming. Make the waitress smile. Make the old lady at the bus stop laugh. Show her that women feel safe and happy around you. When she sees other women responding to your energy, her competitive instinct kicks in. She stops wondering if she likes you and starts worrying about how to keep you. She realizes she is not the owner of your attention. She is merely leasing it, and the lease is up for renewal every single day. This anxiety, this fear of loss, is the fuel of obsession. A woman cannot be obsessed with something she owns completely. She can only be obsessed with something she feels she might lose to a competitor. Trick number 7, the Zeigarnik effect. Have you ever watched a TV show that ended on a massive cliffhanger? The screen goes black. You scream. You check the internet. You talk to your friends. You cannot stop thinking about it until the next season starts. Why? Because the human brain hates unfinished tasks. It hates open loops. This is called the Zeigarnik effect. We remember uncompleted things far better than completed ones. Most men are completed tasks. They tell a woman everything about themselves on the first date. They pour their hearts out. They leave no mystery. They are a closed book read cover to cover in one sitting. To make her obsessed, you must be the cliffhanger. Never tell her everything. When you're telling a story and it's getting good, stop. Check your watch. Say, actually, that's a long story. I'll tell you the rest later. We have to go. She will beg. No. Tell me now. You smile. Later. Now she goes home. What is she thinking about? Is she thinking about her job? Her friends? No. She's thinking about the end of the story. Her brain is itching to close the loop or text her this. I just saw something that made me think of you. It was crazy. And then do not reply for 3 hours. She will lose her mind. What was it? Was it good? Was it bad? Is he thinking about me? You're occupying real estate in her mind. Rentrée. End conversations first. Leave dates while the energy is still high. Never let the conversation die a natural death. Kill it while it is alive and kicking. Leave her wanting more. Always leave her with a question mark, never a period. Now you have the 7 tricks. The vacuum, the pedestal, the roller coaster, the number future nostalgia, the triangle, the cliffhanger. If you apply these, you will see a shift. You will see her eyes linger on you longer. You will see the double texts. You will feel the power dynamic shift until the remote control is firmly in your hand. But here is the final twist, the most important part of this entire video. You cannot fake this. You cannot use these tricks if you're internally terrified of losing her. If you are sitting by your phone shaking, counting the minutes to apply the intermittent reinforcement, she will feel it. Women are intuitive witches. They can smell desperation through a text message. These tricks only work if you actually embody the philosophy behind them. And the philosophies is detachment, stoicism, the realization that you are the prize, that your life